It's less than a month to election 2020. So many people are angling for positions, especially members of parliament. The presidency is also at stake. But there are some persons who have decided not to go back to parliament, and this is voluntary. On Face to Face today, my guest will tell us why he chose that path. My name is Umaru Sandamado. You're welcome. My guest on Face to Face represents the people of Old Tafo in the Ashanti region. He's also Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, but he's not going back to Parliament. That is a decision he took. He didn't lose the primaries. Dr. Anthony Akuto said, you're welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you very much.
How has it been having no election ahead of you? This will be the first time you're not having an election ahead of you in an election year in what? How many years? 15 years.
Yeah, this is my 16th year. But in honesty, my real election was the first time in 2005. Okay. I competed with the late Sir John.
2004?
2004.
Could you was also a free?
Yeah, that was the first time he and I, it was a new constituency.
Oh.
But after that, I went unopposed for the
Throughout?
Throughout.
Oh, Sir John contested you?
Yes.
Did you beat him well, or he?
No, those days.
Or he gave you a tough time?
The numbers were small. There were only 56. Only the chairpersons used to vote.
Oh, okay.
I got 32, he got 24.
Oh, that was a... And he decided later that let me go for general secretary.
He tried, but then he backed off.
Oh, okay.
So for the next 3 times, I went unopposed.
I see. But so are you resting more now? Like...
If I have an opportunity, I do. But the last month and a half, because Parliament is about to end, the work of Parliament has been excessive. I mean, I think the last month I've gone to about 4 different workshops, and that can be tiring.
But do you go to the constituency to organize rallies, address rallies?
These days, because of COVID, you don't do rallies. But I've gone there to make some visits with the candidate, and because when he was elected outside of the country, so I never, for example, got a chance to introduce him to the chiefs. So I did that.
Hand him over properly.
Properly a few weeks
ago.
So
you have done 4 terms.
4 terms will be at the end of this year.
I see. Let's talk about how you became you. So how did you? Who is Anthony Akuto? How do your friends call you? What's your nickname?
In Achimota, they used to call me Terry Wise.
Terry Wise.
Yes.
Where is that from?
They say I'm wise.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, where is Terry from? Or there's someone?
I just gave it to me, and those who know me from Achimota, they still call me that.
Terry Wise.
Now, my daughter also calls me that.
Terry
Wise.
I see. So you attended Achimota. Before then, where were you? Where did you grow up? Where were you?
Oh, I grew up in Rome, in Kumasi.
Is it in your constituency?
It's close.
Okay.
Close. CPC, Cocoa Processing Company, the old Cocoa Processing Company, it's across from Wesley College, but it's close to Tafo.
Okay.
So I went to St. Joseph's Primary School in Ashtown, and then I came to Achimota in 65 or thereabouts.
I see.
I'm not a young man.
You're not. How many children are you?
3.
You're 3. You're the last or first or middle?
How many children?
Not what you have.
Oh, no.
How many you are?
9.
You're 9?
Now we are 8 because one died.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So which one, what's your position?
5. Right in the middle.
All of you have gone to school?
Oh, too much.
Too much.
I think the least was a teacher. My older sister and one of my younger sisters have been teaching in elementary school, but they both retired. But I talked about Ambassador D.K. Osei, who I come directly after.
So Ambassador D.K. Osei is your elder brother?
Yes, I come directly after him.
Oh, okay.
And the oldest is a medical doctor in the States. My older sister is here. And then the one who died retired from the World Bank. Then the older sister, Ambassador D.K., myself. The one after me is a professor in Delaware State University, and my younger sister used to run the Canadian International School.
Okay.
She just retired. And the youngest one is still in the States.
So aside DK, none of them is in politics?
fact, it's strange that I'm the only one. DK was not in politics.
Okay, he was a career diplomat.
He was a career diplomat.
So you're the only one who was into politics.
And the surprise is, if anybody should have been in politics, it should have been DK, because he was the SRC president in Lagos.
Okay.
And it's strange that I'm the one that ended up in politics.
Are your parents politicians?
No, my father was, those days they called a UAC Kratchi, but he stood behind, but he never really was active in politics.
Okay.
He was a close friend of the late Bafo Sakutu and so forth and so on, but he never, and I mean, DK should have been a politician. I think mine is by default.
But what enticed you into politics?
You know, you asked where I've come from. Let me continue on that.
Okay,
I'll come back.
Yes, please do.
I left to do my first degree, master's and PhD in the States. And after that, I started teaching. I came back to Ghana in '95 to work for the think tank called CEPA. So from '95 to 2000.
Center for Policy Analysis.
Center for Policy Analysis.
Joabe.
That's correct. And he was a friend of mine. We used to play cricket when I was in secondary school.
Cricket,
together.
that's your game.
That's my game.
You play cricket
I was
in Ghana.
Sportsman of the year.
You and Jake Tanko Obechi would have been playmates, wouldn't you?
The president also likes cricket, though.
Oh, I see.
But so I came back in '95, worked at CEPA for up to 2000. When Kufuor won, by the way, Kufuor is married to my aunt.
So there's power in your house.
I don't know if there's power. So my uncle is also J.H. Benson.
Okay.
But he asked me to assist the Minister of Finance, Yawsaf Bafo,
This Kufuor.
Yeah, and as a special advisor.
At the ministry.
Yeah, so I left CEPA on a leave of absence from 2001 to 2003 as a special advisor to Yawsaf Bafo. Then in 2003, Kufuor decided to make me a Deputy Minister of Finance. It was at that time that I started going to Parliament to represent my minister. I was not a parliamentarian, but sometimes when questions are asked, the deputy ministers
can answer.
And
Parliament allows ministers to come into the house.
You can take part in the debate, but you can't vote. So I was privileged and lucky enough to start learning the nuances of.
And this was still under Yao, or by then he had changed?
No, he hadn't changed.
Wasn't Kojo Barredo?
No, okay. Kojo came later.
Okay.
So I was with Yao till
to the election.
Till he and in 2004. Yeah, I was still there when I stood for elections as a MP.
So you were advisor from 2001 to 2003.
That's correct.
Then 2003 became deputy minister.
That's correct.
How many deputies were you at the ministry?
At that time we were 2. Later on we became 3.
Okay, so you served until 2004
as deputy minister.
Then you went to contest elections and then came back and became an MP in 2005.
Yes.
Did you get re-nominated as Deputy Finance Minister?
Yes, up to 2007.
So you served all the way?
I became Minister of State in 2007.
What's the difference? Was that, Kufuor is a guy who introduced this Minister of State thing, no?
If you look at the Constitution, it doesn't say Cabinet Minister. Well, there's a place for Cabinet, but it says the President appoints Ministers of State and Deputy Ministers. Now, a Minister of State, if you're not a Cabinet member, is below the Cabinet member. So I was a Minister of State, which is above the Deputy, which means that maybe except for the person being in Cabinet, your conditions of service are not too much different.
But you don't have a ministry to yourself. You don't run a ministry.
In the same ministry, yes. You don't have a ministry to yourself.
So you are deputy to the minister.
You are not deputy. You are Minister of State.
Yeah, but you don't have the same locus. So let's look at it.
No, you don't have the locus as a cabinet minister. But every time you represent the minister, you are acting.
Right now, you are a minister.
Cabinet minister.
You are not a minister of state. You are a minister.
Yes.
Good. A minister with a portfolio, right?
Yes.
Let's look at Ministry of Education.
Yes.
There's Matthew Poku Prempeh. He's Minister for Education.
Yes.
There's Professor Yanka.
Yes.
Minister of State.
For tertiary education.
Who is senior?
Oh, the cabinet minister obviously is senior.
So then Yanka becomes like in between deputy and minister. That's where he becomes.
That's why I say, but he's not in between.
Okay.
He's in between the cabinet minister, and he's the next in line. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So if you went to education, the next person in line should be
the Minister of State.
Yanka.
So when you were there, so you were also at the Ministry of Finance, Minister of State.
I spent all my time at the Ministry of Finance at that time. The last position was acting Minister of Finance when Kojo died.
Also, you acted after Kojo's
From
demise.
September 2008 to December.
So you served as deputy under him.
I served deputy under Kojo, Minister of State under Kojo, and then when he died, I assumed acting.
Acting.
I was not the substance.
You were not confirmed. You
No,
didn't
no,
go to Parliament for vetting and all
no,
of
no,
those
no,
things.
no.
So when you were Minister of State, there was no conflict with you and Kojo Barredo.
At all, at all.
Do you not foresee possible conflict between?
It depends on your personalities. Truth be told, both Yao and Kojo allowed me a lot of freedom. Technically, because I was an economist, and both of them are non-economists, literally they allowed me to run the ministry, but I checked with them. So I must confess, both of them were very good bosses. Sometimes people used to think that I ran the ministry, but they allowed me space. So I led most of the technical discussions and so forth.
In 2016, when Akufo-Addo won, indeed, when you were in opposition, you were one of the strongest voices for the NPP on the
But
economy.
there's a reason. Officially, I was the spokesperson
On
for
economy.
the NPP on economic and finance. And
So-
I was the ranking member in Parliament
Fantastic.
for finance.
So when you won in 2016, everybody saw it as a logical thing that Akoto Ose was going to be the Minister of Finance.
I didn't think that.
You didn't
way.
expect it?
No, the president and I had conversations. And by the way, the president's late wife is my cousin.
I told you power is in your house.
So I've known him, and he has
Okay,
known the family for a
okay,
long
okay,
time.
okay.
But he had always joked that me and my brother, Ambassador DK, we were running the government, but he was at the presidency and I was at finance. Then we were very powerful. So when he came in, he would replicate that. He had been joking, but I'm not surprised. The president was clear in his mind who he was going to appoint where.
You were not looking for it to be minister,
No,
not deputy.
No, I couldn't have been deputy.
You have grown above that.
Having been a minister of state,
You couldn't have been made deputy.
he wouldn't have.
What if he gave you the same portfolio Kufuor gave you? So he made you Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance to be assisting Ken.
I had been minister of state.
So this is the best you could have done in this administration, you think, or there are better portfolios
it
you could have
depends
managed?
on what you call best. My attitude is, if you want me to contribute, give me a position, I'll do what is necessary to do it. I mean, don't forget, the other thing he did was he also made me a member of the economic management team, which is a few of us. But more importantly, it made my position a cabinet position. So,
But when you were campaigning in 2016, and when Charlotte Osei declared that Nana Akufo-Addo had won the president, and in your head, you knew that you would be in this government, did you expect to be Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation?
I didn't know, because I didn't even go and see the president till Christmas time. I know people were going to lobby for position. I'm not that type. I didn't go. It was only, I think, a day before Christmas. It was the Christmas day after church. I went to say hello to him and said, this is the position I'm offering you. So I said, is it a cabinet position? And he said, yes. I said, no problem.
If it wasn't, you wouldn't have taken it?
Oh, no, because I understood the nature of what he was trying to make me do. I was not to be called a supervisor of colleagues, but I was to help him assess colleagues. So some of my colleagues joke and say I'm the Inspector General.
Class prefect.
But it's not that way.
How did you understand your role? How different is your role from the senior minister's role?
The senior minister is always a senior minister. The president assigns him specific duties as a senior minister. My role, which has been, is to, as it were, help him assess ministers in the work they are supposed to do. And when things are not going well, let's find the best way to put it on. on target. I mean, we came up with a matrix of results for every minister, and my job was to report on it. So once you had agreed to this, these indicators and so forth and so on, I report to cabinet, and the first report I remember I color coded it, red, gold, and green. And you know, some of them, initial stages, most of them were in the red area because they were still.
So red means non-performing or underperforming?
Red means you're not achieving your targets.
Okay.
There may be several reasons.
Okay.
One of them we found out was financial. If you're not getting the money, you cannot deliver.
So you ranked the ministers and told him that this is 1, 2, 3, 4.
On the basis of the targets we have set, target number 1, you are here, you are not there, and so forth and so on.
Did you sit with the president in an office where the ministers will come in one after the other? Next, come in, they assess you and tell you what.
On the contrary, he sat in his office and assessed all of us.
Okay, so you went to give him a report.
I went to give cabinet, not just him.
Oh,
we didn't have one-on-one. I prepared my reports to be read at cabinet, and then the question and answer will go on. So every minister will say, oh yes, this is the situation. I didn't get the money on time. Then the finance minister will have to explain what is going on and so forth and so on. Just so that we are on track. So that we all follow the targets that this minister, you said you do A, B, and C. So far.
How far?
How far. And sometimes the problem is not that the minister doesn't know what to do. There are bureaucratic constraints.
So you were choking ministers?
No, I was not choking ministers. I was facilitating their work. For example, let me give you a good example. You know about GIFMIS.
Mm-hmm.
It's the financial system that we used to. One of the jokes the ministers used to say is that we don't know whether GIFMIS is a man or a woman. For the first 3 months, every minister came and said, because of GIFMIS,
there's a problem.
There's a problem. So
it's bureaucratic.
I suggested to the president every minister should be asked to go for an orientation with GIFMIS. After that, he became because the ministers have responsibility in also working with GIFMIS. If you don't know, the file may be there for months and you haven't assessed it, then it's your fault.
And you'll be breaking the law.
Even the bookkeeper, you must know who is the bookkeeper so that if he hasn't done their work. So those things.
Were there ministers who were coming to lobby you and say, if you go, please give me an A instead of an A?
No, never. I mean, we worked with them.
Were they afraid of you?
No. I mean, on the contrary, I think part of the reason the president put me in that position, at finance, I had opportunity to work with every ministry. So, generally speaking, I knew some of the basic things about how the ministries work. And so it was easy for me. And don't forget that I was the only minister that had been in finance for 8 years. So finance is a crucial part of how systems work. So it was easy for me to facilitate their work. But the way we set it up, my staff and every minister, we appointed people that will report to the minister directly on the targets that the metrics that we have set. So that you cannot say I'm coming on your blind side. So
but who evaluates you?
The president. He did an evaluation of all of us by calling us in and say, hey, you be.
Yeah, but you are just supposed to evaluate. So
I'm evaluating the work of the ministers in terms of the agreed upon.
So what is the yardstick for evaluating you, your own performance?
That's up to him. He called each one of us into his office.
There are people who think that your ministry is actually a redundant one and that the president has direct eye on every ministry. He has a chief of staff.
The president
he has a senior minister. There's a vice president. All these people can supervise ministries.
No, the
who
president
can
does not.
let him know that this is not happening. Why do you have to put someone else in charge to just?
The president does not have a director at all ministries. The president needs to be assisted. That on the basis of the agreed targets with the ministries, who is doing what?
But chief of staff is there. Senior minister is there.
Chief of staff has other things.
In fact, Kojo Mpieni, you worked under Kojo Mpieni. He did a great job monitoring all the ministers.
Kojo Mpieni was not doing the same money. Don't forget, even in Kojo Mpieni's time, there was an an Office of Monitoring and Evaluation.
There was?
Yes.
Okay. In
Kojo's time, Kufuor's time, even in Mills' time, Tornado was.
Yes.
The only difference was that mine was a cabinet position. So you are at the table and you are able to talk to your colleagues one-on-one. You are not lying on them if they disagree with your...
Critics of the government say ministries like yours is what bloated the ministry list. So Kufuor has an elephant-sized
I tend to
government.
look at it differently. I also believe that it's ministries like mine which kept ministers on top of their work.
This is Face to Face on CCTV. My guest is the Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation. He's MP for Old Trafford, Dr. Anthony Akoto-Osei. We are speaking generally about his ministry, but we'll focus more on his constituency, how he came to Parliament, and why he's deciding to leave free of charge, without any contest, no gun to his head. Stay with us.
Nana, come and help me. You need to learn.
But I'm more interested in drawing.
How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn?
You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind.
Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing.
Lipton Yellow Label Tea, awaken to what really matters.
Hi, my name is Salamatu. Yes, these are both me. You see, before free SHS, my life could have taken two very different paths. The SHS path depended on how much money my parents had, what sacrifices they were willing to make, and whether they would send me or my little brother Issa to SHS. The other part is what would have become of me if there was no free SHS. But today, thanks to free SHS, my future is bright and promising.
Congratulations, you have a name. He's a boy.
Instead of depending on others, I will stand on my own feet and help my family. Free SHS is where my dreams for a better future and the dreams of thousands of young girls become a reality. Don't let NDC take it away from us. Vote for NPP and give all Ghanaian girls a chance for a better future.
You're welcome back to Face on CCTV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. My guest is the Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation and MP for Old Trafford, Dr. Anthony Akoto-Osei. You were serving in Kufuor's government already, working for him. He made you Deputy Minister. Why did you decide to go to Parliament? in 2004?
There were several reasons. One of them is that Kufuor always felt that in politics, you must have a consistency.
And when you say constituency, physical constituency or a following?
A following.
Okay.
That's your consistency. And I knew they were going to create new constituencies. So I said, well, why don't I have my following and consistency with this new consistency? So I decided it won't hurt if I try to be the first MP for that consistency. So I've been the only MP for that consistency.
From beginning?
It used to be part of Swami.
Yes.
Broken off, but so and it's been interesting because I also found out that I enjoy the work of Parliament. I like the debate. I like, I think parliamentary work is interesting. It's interesting. So combining the two is very difficult. I don't know any minister MP who can actually say that I'm doing both of them 100%. You can't. Something will give.
You can't love all.
No, if you don't go the constituency, they won't vote for you. In the meantime,
if you're not performing the ministry, the president will fire you.
So it's tough. So I'm now a firm believer in separation.
You think that we should have separation?
I believe so.
If you were president tomorrow,
I'll change the constitution.
You will not appoint a member
I'll change
of
the constitution to allow the separation.
Why?
Because I want people to be concentrating on being executive 100%. I don't want them to be running around. I mean, let me give you a good example. If you're in the executive and you are promoting a bill, you ought to be in Parliament to explain your position. Very often you can't because you have all these ministerial. So you send your deputy, but the deputy who had not been in cabinet may not know what informed the policy. So you are not able to, as it were, get the best legislation on the basis of what informs cabinet. At cabinet we've discussed it. You present the paper. But if issues come on the floor, your deputy is forced to take a policy decision that he or she may not have been aware of. So it's tough.
Can MPs be at least deputy ministers, or you
No,
just
the
think
law.
I know. I'm saying that in your plan, if you were to change the constitution,
It's complete separation. You are in the executive, you stay there. You are in Parliament, you stay there.
do you think that affects the progress of Parliament? Who suffers more, Parliament or the executive?
Parliament, because by default, I mean, think about it. I go and sit in cabinet, help make a decision. Yeah, people are allowed to change their mind. But if I have done my homework and we have taken the collective decision, I'm not going to come to Parliament and suddenly
Change your mind.
Change my mind.
So you debate along what you was discussing.
Because it's a collective decision.
And you are the promoter of the bill.
Of the bill. So, clearly, so by default, the majority side have to go along. So in that sense, Parliament...
What about the other side, where there are more privileges that come with being a minister? So once you become an MP, the next thing is you want to add minister.
I don't know what privileges you're talking about.
You are paid more as a minister.
How much?
You have more privileges.
Like what?
You have bodyguard. Now they said they'll give you police, but you have bodyguard.
Deputy ministers have bodyguards.
You have bungalow.
No, you don't have a bungalow.
Ministers don't have bungalows?
No. Every MP or minister, government will house you and give you a certain percentage of your salary. If you live in your own house, then you'll be paid that allowance. But it's up to you. I have not lived in a government house before. I've always stayed in my own house. But as an MP, Parliament has an obligation to find you accommodation for the time that you are here. So it's really up to you.
But as a minister, clearly there are some privileges.
Oh, maybe in terms of the
you get Lucci.
Transport.
Lucci. No. You sit on contract. You sign.
Which
you get
contract?
Small kickback.
I ask my secretary, what contract do I sign in this office? Which contract?
Yeah, as Minister for Evaluation, you will not, but maybe as Minister for
I don't
Transport,
know
as Minister for
what-
Road, as Minister of other
But
things.
it's not part of your job. So it's not part of your
So
responsibility.
purely delineate the two. That's what you
Not
want.
purely. The only difference now is that as MPs, we borrow money to buy our cars. Whilst as a cabinet minister, I get a V8 and a saloon.
But you don't own it.
No, I don't own it.
But the Parliament one, when you borrow,
Yes.
it becomes yours.
But
so
you-
that's the difference.
But parliamentarians need to go to their constituency more than ministers who are not MPs. I mean, if I'm in a minister in Yendi and I'm supposed to go to my constituency, fly, have a car, but if I'm a minister of monetary evaluation and I'm not an MP, I don't have to go to Yendi.
You don't
So
need to.
there's a difference. And historically, if you remember, every time there has been a coup, it's the first
Parliament.
institution that goes to Parliament. So we have not developed that history to be able to be on our own.
But the people you work with in the government now, they all know these things. John Mahama has been MP president. Nana Akufo-Addo has been MP
Yes.
president. We are not seeing this proposal about the amendment of the Constitution. John Mills left a wonderful amendment, we are told, in the Constitution. It has never been
in the
implemented.
first term, I didn't expect Nana-Addo to go in that area. I don't know personally where he stands on that, but he was a minister and an MP, and I'm sure that
So he knows the challenges you talk
Oh, he
about.
knows.
And in fact, there are some people who say that he actually he's supposed to choose up to a certain percentage in Parliament, but he has even gone beyond that.
But in fact, this is why he believes in that if you stick to the normal thing, work will not be fully developed. So sometimes that's the other side. When I was a foreign minister, I remember one time there was a budget hearing, and then his people had been complaining to him that we in finance were not. So I invited him personally. I said, "Nana, today, because you are coming, I'm coming." By the time he left there, he said, so all these things they don't tell me? You don't know. Yeah. So you send your deputy to go and represent the budget, but without the budget, you can't do anything.
Can't do anything.
So he's fully aware that if you don't get enough people, the work will not be done.
I don't know, but we are changing things. Let me go back to your constituency again. In 2004, you were going to run for MP. Did you have challenges?
Yes, I ran. There were two of us, myself and the late Sir John.
So you won, and then you became the MP. And since then, it has been easy for you.
I've gone. I don't know if it's been easy.
It's an MPP stronghold, isn't it?
It is an MPP stronghold. So I've gone unopposed. Within the MPP, nobody has competed with me in the primary.
Okay. So you are the Mugabe of Old Tafo. What are the things that they can point to and say, okay, Kufuor gave us a constituency, we gave Akoto the position as MP after serving us for 12 years, 16 years. These are the things we can list, and that it is good that he really was.
I think it's plenty.
It's plenty.
And I mean,
tangibles and intangibles.
Yes, but the one that I really appreciate most is that I set up a school for skills development in 2006, where every year we graduate about 80 to 100 young women in hairdressing, cooking, and every time I go to their graduation, I'm very happy. So I'm asking myself, if this avenue was not available, what were these young girls going to do? The parents are happy and so forth. And we had a practice of when you are leaving, we also set you up a bit so that you can be on your own. And that's one thing that's very clear. As for infrastructure, there's no problem. But
list some, let's see.
Hospitals, toilets, and so forth. But if you go to the Tafo Hospital, even the staff canteen, I helped develop it. My district assembly common fund has paid school fees for over 3,000, maybe 4,000 students from university to basic. I use all of that to pay for school fees. And generally speaking, I try to be humble, so I'm very close to my constituents, even those in opposition. Some of my best friends are on the other side.
Okay.
Even in my constituency. Mm-hmm. I mean, one area, NDC area, I got them to. we built a mosque for them.
Oh, wow.
Even though I knew it was not my area.
Okay.
But my attitude is that when you become an MP, you're an MP for everybody. So you should not discriminate. You should respect the elders. You should work with the community so that the community gets better.
60 years on, for someone who was born in 2004, what have
Who was MP?
I mean, someone who was born in 2004 in your constituency,
Yes.
you having served them or represented them for 16 years,
Yes.
what value should they really see in their life and say, this is because of Akoto Osei?
Even the community center that is being built at Tafo, every quarter I gave money towards the building of it. Now it's become the center where people have their funerals, parties, and so forth and so on. And I think, you'll be surprised, even in an urban area like Tafo, before I became MP, water was a huge problem. Huge problem. I got the water fixed, and now water is not a problem there. Even something as simple as toilets in the electoral areas. Before I became MP, I got a few built. Even in a place like Kumasi, these things are important. Roads, we are not development agents, but you have to help lobby so that these things are done. The basic schools, books for them. When they are going to prepare exams, you buy, you pay for the mock exams, chairs and tables for classrooms every now and then. I mean, I think almost every school I can remember has some computers that I bought for them.
Okay.
All of them were supposed to be taking examinations in computers, but they didn't even have one. So you spread it around. I think by the time, in the last, maybe before this term, almost every school had gotten some computers.
What would you say is your biggest failure in your constituency?
It's for them to tell me.
You haven't identified one thing you wanted to do that you have failed to do in the past 16 years that...
But I don't think it was my failure. I'll give you a good example. When MPP went to opposition in 2009, there's a maternity block in the Tafo Hospital, which I helped put in place up to 80% completion. As I speak today, it has not been completed.
The Tafo Government Hospital.
Yes. 80% completed in 2008.
It's still at the same level.
Yes. It's only last week that they brought some facility to try and complete it.
Didn't you push it when you were in opposition as an MP?
How do you push it? They know about it. I mean, if you are thinking about Ghana, it was going to be one of the biggest maternity hospitals for. So, I mean, is it because of me? That's why they didn't do it. I helped build the ICT center, but now it's been turned to the office of the assembly. It's there.
What is the chance of the NDC in Old Trafford?
It's difficult, but it's not impossible. It's difficult. The population is about at least 25% Zongo communities. But my view, though, given my relationship with them, I don't forget the first MP was from NDC in '92 because MPP did not go. Then '96, Swami. It's still big, Swami.
Osechi took over.
Chairman Sabons. But his concentration was in Swami. So Tafo was always, but since then, since I came, that separation has helped. Now we have a municipality, me and the chief.
So it doesn't look easy for the NDC, but it's not impossible.
It depends on the candidate.
Is a Zongo community growing in your constituency?
Oh, it's big.
And it mostly goes NDC?
Majority, but because in the parliamentary, I get more of their votes than the presidency.
I see.
But the quality of the candidates also matter. The candidates they've put up, if you compare our experiences, my experience, their experience, I think it's also difficult. Apart from the fact that...
Would it be because they can't be bothered? Because, well, after all, one win, we just want to be in the
fight. But the current candidate is a teacher in one of the Zongo schools. He's better than the previous one. who competed against me. I mean, I think she had completed OKES, and I mean,
She didn't have much to her name.
I don't think so. And then not having much to your name, and I think it was not fair for her to compete against me with experience in government and so forth and so on. So
You felt sad for her.
no, I didn't feel sad for her. I mean, it's an election, so you do what you have to do to win.
What is the biggest thing you did in Parliament that excites you, so that when you are in your retirement home, you remember it and you smile?
I think that perhaps one of my best contributions in Parliament was when I was in opposition. Because I was the ranking member of finance, almost everything economic or finance,
What's your side?
I was supposed to be the lead person. In fact, if you look over here, you see that the books over
Yes,
there.
I've seen some books. Yeah.
That's a printing of my contribution in Parliament from 2009 to 2016 in the Hansard.
Wow.
And I think for me, I probably contributed more in opposition. When you're in government right now,
It's a bit complex.
it's complex. But right now we have a chairperson of the finance committee, so you allow the chairperson and stay in the background. But when you're a ranking member, you're also given more time.
Is there any bill you managed to shoot down, or you almost shut down, that you are happy about?
As a ranking member,
Yes, as ranking.
I don't go in to shoot down bills. I try to be as objective as possible. Generally speaking, I also have a conversation with my colleagues on the other side as to the problems. You see, Dr. Dufo was like my senior brother. Said Tekwe was my friend. We are not looking for government failure. We are looking for what is best for Ghana.
There are people who say that Parliament is a rubber stamp,
I don't
and that
know.
you are just there. Whatever the executive bring you, approve it. You've already said that it's difficult for you to come and depart from what you've
It's
said.
difficult, but it's not impossible. I mean, even last week, there were some issues that came up, and it took a member of the opposition to bring to our attention the problem. He could have kept quiet and said, "Look, go ahead and next time, go have a press conference about it." But he brought to our attention. We sat down, we talked together, and we all found a solution to it. So it's only the times you hear about disagreements about 5%. Most of the time we agree, because bills we go clause by clause, and it's very tedious. So even sometimes a comma in a bill makes a difference. People don't see that.
What's your biggest disappointment in Parliament?
Biggest
About
disappointment.
something you should have done that you couldn't do as a house or as a person?
I don't know. My biggest disappointment is that, from my experience, the quality of debate in Parliament is not improving.
It's dwindling.
When I first went to Parliament, and Honorable J.H. Mensah got up and spoke, he held the attention of both sides. Wisdom. Now, the quality, parliamentarians are not learning much to be able to contribute. And it is not about making noise. You have to read. And if the document is like this, you haven't read, how are you going to contribute? So I think that we need to move away from this monetization of Parliament. And that's why I think the separation is important.
What is the monetization of
I
Parliament?
mean, now people become MPs because they have money. They buy the delegates, and sometimes they don't even come to Parliament.
Are you hurt by the huge numbers of experienced MPs who have lost the
Oh,
primary?
yes, on both sides.
And it's because of money, you reckon?
Partly because of money.
What do you think can be done to cure that?
I think each party ought to change its constitution to bring it down. When I was running with Sir John, the delegates were only 56. Now I have 600.
You can't pay all of them.
So, I mean, it's not the best. And I'm not sure they do the work that they are supposed to do. When they see you, they pretend that
They are
they are
working.
working.
But
So it's tough. It's tough. We need to decide as a nation what really we want our parliament to do.
This is Face to Face on City TV. My guest is leaving Parliament. He's not happy with the quality, but he's leaving. I'll ask him why he's leaving when we have Nancy Pelosi been in Parliament since before Umaru Sanda was born. Don't go away.
Nana, come and help me. You need to learn.
But I'm more interested in drawing.
How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn?
You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind.
Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing.
Lipton Yellow Label Tea awaken to what really matters.
Hi, my name is Salamatu. Yes, these are both me. You see, before free SHS, my life could have taken two very different paths. The SHS path depended on how much money my parents had, what sacrifices they were willing to make, and whether they would send me or my little brother Issa to SHS. The other path is what would have become of me if there was no free SHS. But today, thanks to free SHS, my future is bright and promising.
Congratulations, you have an A. He's a boy.
Instead of depending on others, I will stand on my own feet and help my family. Free SHS is where my dreams for a better future and the dreams of thousands of young girls become a reality. Don't let NDC take it away from us. Vote for NPP and give all Ghanaian girls a chance for a better future.
Hello, sweetheart. Tell me whatever you want. I will take you to Melcom and buy for you.
Oh, you are so late, Masa. I also received the SMS and I'm even planning going shopping now. So if you are ready, let's go, baby.
Melcom is back again with the hot Black Friday deals in this month of November.
Yeah! Shop at Melcom for your hot Black Friday deals every day in the month of November.
Ranging from supermarkets,
households,
furniture,
groceries,
electronics. In fact, there are thousands of these hot deals in any Melcom shop nationwide.
Melcom Black Friday. It's simply unbeatable.
But remember,
terms and conditions apply.
Melcom,
where Ghana shops.
You're welcome back to Face on City TV. I am Umaru Sanda, and my guest is Dr. Anthony Akoto-Osei. You've served as MP for 16 years. You've not been challenged from your party side. Why did you decide to leave Parliament?
You know, my belief is that after a certain point in time, you need to give room for younger ones to succeed you. Whilst you are there, you do the best that you can. Train people to come after you and leave. I mean, I'm asking myself, how much additional value am I getting from Parliament? Is there any new thing I'm learning? I don't think so.
But there's a new thing you're adding.
Yes, but others can add to that. So you should not believe that you are the only person who can do the work. You should allow other people to come in. So, and there must be a point in time where you have to decide that I've had enough.
It's not because you are afraid that you will lose.
Oh, no.
It's not because you are not happy that you've not been treated well by your party.
No. I've never had a difficulty with
So you just sat down, reflected, and decided you won't run again?
No, it's not adjust. In fact, in 2016, I almost didn't run again. That decision could have come in 2016, but at that time, I took the position that it would not be nice for when Nana is coming for me to quit, that I needed to at least do that. And there are also some personal problems. My wife had been sick for a while, and the choice of doing MP back and forth, it's just too tedious. 16 years is a long time to be at any place.
How do you juxtapose that against people who say experience drives Parliament and that other
some experience?
Yeah.
But you shouldn't think that that's the only experience that drives
There are
Parliament.
arguments being made that some MPs should be protected. In fact, people would think that you should be one of the people who should be protected if there was any such clause. And yet you are jumping the boat.
I don't know about. I believe personally that most MPs should be allowed to do at least 2 terms. The first term, if you're not careful, you won't learn much. But at least 2 terms. Then be assessed properly. If you are not performing, they shouldn't keep you there. But the more you stay there, and if you're studying properly, you gain experience. I mean, the chairman of my finance committee,
Asidi Ebua.
he has 2 terms. Perhaps, even though he's my friend, it's not because he's my friend, but I've never seen any better chairperson of finance committee since I've been in Parliament.
Wow. And he's lost his primaries.
Yes. Because when he came, I took it upon myself and my colleagues to say that this is a brilliant young man. You should give him opportunity to learn, and he will perform. And he has performed. And so
you regret that he's leaving the house?
Oh, yeah.
Which other regrets do you have in terms of people who are leaving the house?
I mean, let me limit myself to the finance committee. He's going, I'm going, Opari Ansan is going. Very brilliant legislator. He's in communications, but he knows what he's doing. There were 2 new people, Ochem Abuaji and Ifa. We have started giving them room to be more experienced, and they are gone. So it's a difficult thing, yeah. But I think Parliament will adjust. But I believe that very soon my party may relook at the Constitution and find a way to. I mean, you should not protect people because of who they are. I mean, I should not be protected because I'm Dr. Akoto. I must deliver. If my constituents think that I'm doing well,
they'll give it to you.
And Parliament agrees that my contribution is good, what is wrong in protecting me?
Who are the regrets you have on the NDC side?
Oh, yes, certainly Yilechire and Inusa.
You don't want them leaving the house?
No, I think Parliament is the loser for them going.
But Yilechire lost his primaries. Inusa is opting out like you are.
That's why NDC should have protected him. Inusa, I think, the frustrations of internal politics, but he's a brilliant legislator.
But you're decrying movement out of the house, and you're doing it deliberately, and you've explained why you're doing so. So what are you going to do after you leave? On 7 January, after the beautiful ceremony at Independence Square?
If the president doesn't sack me, I'll still be in the executive.
Okay, so in 2021, if Akufo-Addo wins and gives you a job again, you accept it?
It's not an if.
No, it's an if.
Akufo-Addo is going to win.
Fine. If he wins, not when, if he wins,
yes.
And he gives you...
If for you.
If
for me, it's when.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
We'll not split heads over this.
Okay.
But I'm still going to use if.
Oh, sure.
If he wins and he gives you a job, you would accept. That's what you're saying.
In the executive?
Yes.
No problem.
So you can be a minister. You don't mind being a minister?
Alan Shamate is not in Parliament.
Yes.
Also, Free Akoto is not in Parliament. Cecilia Dapa is not in Parliament. So the Minister of Finance is not in Parliament. So
you don't mind taking up a job. It's Parliament that you're not coming back to.
It's Parliament that...
If Akufo-Addo wins and MPP crashes out, what would Akoto be doing after 7 January 2021?
I haven't thought about it, but I need some rest.
You should have a plan for rest. Yeah,
well, I mean, at my age, if I were a civil servant, I would have retired, isn't it?
That's true.
I would have retired a long time ago.
Would you live in Accra or you go back home to Kumasi?
It depends. I have a house in Kumasi, and most of the time it's not... nobody's in there, but I'll go back and forth. I don't mind resting a bit, and I also suspect that if I wanted to do some consulting, it would be difficult. But I believe in the last 25 years, I've spent a lot of time doing public service. And I think that it's enough. I should not think that I'm the only one who was born to do public service. Since I came back to Ghana, even SEPA was a quasi-public service. You go on radio, you go on TV. These days, I've stopped going to radio and TV.
You're tired?
Yes, too much. Same thing.
Same thing.
From 95 to just maybe last year, every time you call you on radio and TV, you run from one place to another. I mean, I don't think anybody should spend that much time doing that much public service.
It means if you go home, if we call you, you will not mind ourselves.
No. I mean, you called me.
Yes.
And I go on the phone.
Will you write a book, or you have written a book already?
No, I haven't written a book yet. That's something.
You have that plan?
That I'm looking at.
Will you farm?
Farming is a difficult thing. I mean, you really must understand what you're doing and have people that you trust. In terms of books, unfortunately for me, my brother has written a book, and in our family, we don't want to be seen as we are competing, so we allow Ambassador DK.
No, but he is written on diplomatic. You should write on parliament. You should write a book on parliament.
I'll see. I mean, I don't rule anything out.
Okay. Will you travel? Will you travel the world and go and chill? Maybe you go to...
Traveling, I've done since 2001.
That's for work. This one, you're just going to chill. Just go to...
I can chill in Ghana.
You can chill in Ghana.
Why go to the States? Last time I was in the States, I got locked down.
Yes, you stayed there for 3 months. I didn't
3.5
mention
months.
that. Yeah. How frustrating was that you're a minister in Ghana and you're locked up in the US?
It wasn't because I was a minister, but I mean, I'm not used to being at home 24/7. It's just not me. After all the work I had done, but I was forced to do that.
Did it affect your ministry?
No. We were communicating. It didn't stop. Of course, the COVID protocol slowed us down a bit, but the office was...
Will you run for president?
No, I don't have that ambition. Even being a parliamentarian is not easy. So I'm wondering...
Who do you tip as flag bearer of NPP after Nana Akufo-Addo?
Not yet. I have not tipped anybody yet.
What do you make of Dr. Bawumia?
Fortunately for him, we have been friends since we worked. When I was the special advisor for Yao, he was the special advisor for the governor. So for 8 years we worked together, and now we are also working on the EMT. Brilliant man. He served Akufo-Addo from 2008 to now. I think he's a capable person, but we will know after 2021, soon after 2021, those who are going to.
So you outright don't have a candidate yet?
No.
In Parliament, do you think your people will be properly represented by the gentleman who is replacing you?
He's new, and I don't think it will be fair for people to compare him to me. I went to Parliament more experienced, having worked, retired from teaching in the university. He's a young man, relatively new. Probably this is his first job.
So let's give him a chance.
So people should not try and think that he can fill the hole immediately. I think we should allow him some time to. And as I told him, I'm around. Whatever I can do to assist him.
You're not. Are you on his side? People thought you were supporting Louis Carroll because you lost. You have washed your hands off the.
All of them came and sat
in your office.
To tell me
you blessed all of them.
I said, "Go. I'm not supporting anyone. Once you are selected, I'll work with you."
Dr. Anthony Akoto said, we wish you a happy retirement and thank you for speaking to us on Face to Face.
Thank you very much.
That's Member of Parliament, outgoing, voluntary outgoing, Old Tafo MP, Minister for Monetary Evaluation. He's actually also outgoing for that one. I'm not sure he wants to serve on that portfolio in the next Akufo-Addo government, if there is a next Akufo-Addo government.
Why do you keep saying if?
I have to say if. My name is Umar Rusanda Amado. Thank you for watching Face to Face. This is the Election Bureau. We'll bring you everything you need to know ahead of election 2020 on City TV. Don't worry.